Hi, I'm Mary Almas. I'm a senior, and I'm an alternate. I like to call myself alternate captain. That's like a self-appointed role, but I am a flyer. I'm there in case someone gets hurt. So I follow Lily King throughout the routine, so I know exactly what she does, just in case anything ever happens to her, which we hope it doesn't. But I'm there in case we need a backup. So I've danced since I was 2.5, maybe 3. I did theater in middle school, and then the last production I did was Shrek, and it got shut down due to COVID. I did karate. I got a black belt in 8th grade, and my mom was like, all right, you got to find something to do in high school, and I really wanted to do theater, but the environment that theater created for me wasn't the best. So she was like, well, cheer might be good. And I was like, well, maybe, but I had such stereotypes in my head that I really didn't want to do it. So I was like, well, what about track? Well, what about field hockey? I was trying to find any excuse in the book to not do it. And she was like, tryouts are this day. I think you should go. So I went. I was mortified. I had no idea what was going on. It was nothing what I expected it to be. I just thought I stood on a sideline, shook some pom-poms, shouted some words, and I was so wrong. And I've been opened up to this whole new competitive world that I've learned to love a lot.
She picked up cheer in high school, and I can tell she really enjoys it, and she's obviously very passionate about it. But I think if she had to make the choice between cheer or dance, everyone knows what she's picking. I'm Braedon Almas. I'm a Bridgewater State University wrestler, roll bears. I'm a rapper, and I'm a new McDonald's employee. When she started cheering, I was so weird about it because, I didn't think she was going to, so I was like, oh, I'm going to have team dinners, I'm going to have this, and this, and then all of a sudden my mom's like, oh, yeah, well, Mary's going to be there too, and I'm like, oh. So it was everything we were at, I was kind of just half in with my friends and half making sure she was fine. It was a worry thing because I wanted her to be okay, and cheer was new for her, so it was just I got to keep an eye on her while paying attention to the game. So it was weird, but it took me about a year to get used to for sure.
I could say so much about dance. It's probably my favorite thing that I've ever done. It's taught me how to speak in public. I've had to say speeches in front of crowds. I've had to give interviews for Dancer of the Year positions. I haven't gotten them yet. We're getting there. I really love dance. It's such a way that I can get out my feelings artistically, and my studio's great. Precision Dance Club, sign your kids up.
Instead of walking around the house, she would dance around the house. She's been dancing since I've known her, and every time I'll get in the house, oh, where's Mary? Dance. Is Mary home? Dance. Is Mary here? Dance. She's always doing something dance involved. If you walk in her room, there's 100 dance trophies on the wall. There's 100 medals. I've never seen someone be so dedicated to only one thing for their entire life. It's kind of crazy.
I just love dance so much. I can't even express how grateful I am for my dance teacher, Miss Terry. I've had a lot of medical ups and downs, and she has been accommodating to all of them. She has been great through all everything I've had. I have the best friends that I've ever had on my team. I've known these girls since as long as I can remember. They've been in my life forever, and I hope it'll stay that way forever because they're all so amazing. And I do all different types of dance. I'm trained in everything. Doesn't mean we compete everything, but I compete for dance, and that's really intense. And that, I do 14 regionals a year, I think last year, and we did 2 national competitions. Epilepsy is a seizure disorder. I had Chiari malformation type 1, I believe.
Which basically your brain sits here. My sister's brain was pressured on her spine. It was in the back of her head. So her brain was essentially falling out of the back of her head, and they told me she needed to have brain surgery.
We found that when I was about 9, and I had never really been able to see or hear properly as a child. My mom said as a baby I would just sit and they would shake a toy in front of my face and I wouldn't go and grab it.
And then when we found out she had epilepsy, I didn't know what it meant. I don't think anyone in my family really knew what it meant. My dad and my mom were kind of just like, epilepsy? Like, I think they might have had a better understanding than me, but they were like, oh, she has seizures. And I'm like, she's never had like a seizure like where, people convulse, foam at the mouth, and like, I don't know a better word than kind of shake. But I did notice she would kind of just sit there and space out. And apparently she was having like 1 to 200, or I don't know the exact number, little seizures a day.
Oh, they used to say Mary's off in her own world. Mary's off in her own world. I was having like hundreds of seizures every single day. We went to a neurologist. She was like, yeah, your daughter's like having a seizure right now, like I can see it. And my mom was like, what? No, she's not. She's like, yeah, she is. Seizures aren't something like you see, always like you see in a movie. Like you think of a seizure, you think of someone like foaming at the mouth and their eyes rolling to the back of their head and they're like shaking. I just like stare off into space. Like sometimes it has been more intense. There was only one time I've ever needed to use emergency medication, and that was a bigger seizure. But the only reason I used to have bigger seizures was because I was on the wrong medicine.
This is kind of funny, but sometimes she falls, or she used to when she was younger because she didn't have really great motor control, and she'd fall and I'd hear it. And my mom always jokes about this because I would just yell, I got her. And I'd walk up and I'd get her, I'd pick her up, like under her arms, I'd lift her and I'd get her sitting down, I'd get her what she needed. She'd be fine a few minutes later.
Epilepsy is something that I'm hoping will go away. It's been under control really nicely. I am hoping it goes away. It's affected like my ability to like drive, and like I try not to make it out to be like my personality, because I had it on me like it was an identity for a long time because I didn't really know who I was without it. And I think as I've gotten older, it's been a lot easier to like come away from that, especially doing more and more activities. Actually, cheer helps me with that because every time I like do some like a handspring or a back tuck, it resets my brain. So the more I do that, the more it helps. And it might be a little bit, but it's still like worth something to me.
11 months.
11 months.
We're Irish twins.
10, 11 months apart, I believe. So I don't think there's ever a day where I like, or like that we remember not having each other there because we were both so young. One of my earliest memories is from our house in Arlington. It was like a little apartment situation that my parents somehow finagled to fit me and me, Braedon, and Jonathan. And there was 2 cribs, and I just remember like standing up in mine, and he was standing up in his, and we just stared at each other. And there's a weird wicker rug on the floor. I don't know if that's correct. My mom will correct me. But I remember that rug. He taught me how to escape out of my crib. I had a brown crib, and he taught me how to get out of it. And one time I had like a sleepover in his room when I was 2, and I was crying for some reason, so he gave me his fire hat. He had a fire hat for a long time. But we were always very close growing up. You would think we would like fight a lot, and we did, but not in a normal way. We had like traditional, proper technical karate fighting, and if one of us messed up in our technique or form, he would be like, all right, go back, reset, we gotta fix this. Like we would put on sparring gear, we would have our collie sticks out. We were always very safe about it, but we would like fight traditionally. He is super annoying, I would say, 95% of the time, but that's just the way like he shows that he cares about people.
Well, we were definitely close, but we did fight a lot. Like we grew up right next to each other, so my room's here, her room's here. So we were like a 2-foot doorway away from each other. So we would get up together every morning. We'd go downstairs. We'd talk all the time, but we did fight a lot about sibling things. Like that was mine. I wanted that. This. We were close, but we did have our fair amount of fights. Yeah. So this was probably when I was like 8 or 9. I was playing with something. I think I was playing with my football in my room. I used to have a football I could throw off the wall. It was like foam, so I could catch it. And she kept bothering me, like coming in and saying stuff, and I didn't want to be bothered, so I took the football and I hummed it at her face, and it hit her right in the nose, and she went backpedaling into my door frame, like hit her head. She started crying. I was like, no, stop crying. Don't tell mom, don't tell mom, don't tell mom. And luckily my mother doesn't know about that until now, but true story.
That's crazy. Dude, there's definitely a right side and a wrong side to that.
No, she shouldn't have came in my room.
Who is more athletic, you or Braedon?
I feel like we have different levels of athleticism.
I'm going to get into this. My mom says she's more athletic than me. My mom's like, she can dance and leap across stage. I'm like, I can pick people up over my head and slam them on their neck.
He's a wrestler. I'm not going to wrestle anybody. You're not going to catch me being Hannah Bryson. She's very talented. I could never do what she does. He could not survive a ballet class. If I tried to put him on in like point shoes or tap shoes, I think he'd probably like collapse onto the floor.
I'm stronger, I'm faster, I'm more powerful. She may be more flexible than me, I'll give her that. She's definitely more flexible. But if you look at the 5 pillars of strength, I believe it's strength, speed, flexibility, power, and I forget the other one. Do you know what the other one is? Strength, speed, flexibility, power, and control. I have more of all of those. I'm stronger.
If you scaled it by weight.
If we scaled it by weight, I'd be stronger.
Still?
I swear, pound for pound, I'm stronger than her.
Pound for pound.
Yeah, I always say I could make it through a dance class, you couldn't make it through a wrestling practice.
He wouldn't know how to do a paradiddle, and that's probably like the first thing you learn in basic beginner tap. Like he wouldn't be able to dance. He could probably outrun me. We both run because we had to for karate, and then we kind of both picked it up. We like it. I don't run as much anymore. I probably should do that. But he could outrun me. He could probably do like a typical like athlete test, but if I tried to get him to do anything we do in dance, like on a daily basis that I'm there in class, I'm not sure how well he'd manage.
Who is more the life of the party, you or him?
It depends on the people. If I'm like at a party and it's just like football's on the TV, there's like a few like grown men in the corner being like, yeah, football, that's Braedon's thing. If they're talking about sports or whatever, I'm just like in the corner trying to find someone else to talk to because that's not my thing. But if it's like a good mix of people, I think I do better.
Me? Honestly, that could go either way though, because we're in different like social circles. So when I get around my friends, I'm like the life of the party. When she's around her friends, she's the life of the party. But in a family setting, I'd have to think that I'm the fun one.
I think we both kind of got the social thing from my dad. Not that my mom isn't social, but like she has her own crowd of people. She'll talk to anyone. She's always super polite, but my dad is just a whole nother character.
Who's funnier, you or Braedon?
Funnier, me.
Does she...
She's funny, but I'm funnier. I taught her everything she knows. I taught her how to make jokes.
I don't know if me and Braedon are funnier than our older brother. Like, our older brother Jonathan is so funny, and you put the 3 of us in a room together and we feed off each other's energy, it gets awful for my mom.
Who would be better at senior assassin, you or Braedon?
Braedon.
Me? Of course me. I was 4th.
I'm gonna lose. I can tell you right now, they're gonna clip me on this. I know it. I'm going to lose. I'm gonna be the first one out. Someone's gonna show up to my dance studio and get me with a water gun, and I'm not even gonna be surprised.
I got robbed. I was robbed, and everyone at WCTV knows it. Eric Spinney knows he was lucky that I was robbed. I was robbed, and everyone knows it. Mary, she's gullible, and I feel like she'll walk out in the middle of the street one day and be like, I thought my friend said they were outside, and all of a sudden she's gonna get blasted. And obviously I'll help her as much as I can with me being at school, but I think that we'll see. We'll see on that one. We'll see who does better at senior assassin. She's also quiet and sneaky. You never know with her.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what she's doing. She's kind of mysterious, but they find out where she goes to dance, text me. I'll let you guys know.
So he shared a story involving snow.
Oh my God, no, he didn't tell this.
So when she was younger, she was obsessed with Christmas. She loved snow and stuff. So she got this like really nice like tea set. Someone got it for her birthday, like actual glass and actual tea set, and in it came styrofoam. And I was working on my Washington project because we all had to do a state, and I was working on my project with my mom, and my sister was being like abnormally quiet upstairs. We were all like, "What's Mary doing?" But we didn't think anything of it.
I was 5. Someone probably, my parents pay very close attention to us, but I somehow got a hold of styrofoam. I took it and I ripped up the styrofoam block. I spread it all over my room.
And my mom's like, "Can you go check on your sister?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she took the styrofoam out, she crumbled it, so it was like the little pieces of styrofoam, and covered her entire room in it. And goes, "It's snowing." And I was like, "Oh no."
He was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making a snow globe." And he did not, he was like, what? Why are you doing that? I'm like, "I'm making a snow globe." So in an attempt to clean it, I went downstairs, and my hair was like to here, and I was like very short, so it was like pretty long for a 5-year-old's hair. There's just styrofoam in my hair. There's a photo of me, I can send it to you guys, of me standing with the broom like this, because I tried to clean it up with the broom.
My mom came upstairs because at that point I was trying to help her clean it up. And my mom was so upset with Mary because she was like, "What are you doing? We got you this thing to play with and you're playing with the styrofoam." Mary's like, "It's snowing." So we had to get like a broom and sweep up the styrofoam off the carpet, which it wasn't helping. We eventually had to get the vacuum, but that was really funny. That was one of the funniest things I think she's ever done. And thinking about that now, even that just makes me laugh because it's like, it was just so stupid.
Braedon has funny stories of his own. He used to sleepwalk.
Oh, man.
He used to sleepwalk. So we have a room downstairs. It's been like an office, a bedroom, whatever. There was a bed down there at one point after my surgery. We had just set up the room. I hadn't had it yet. And he came downstairs and he was sleepwalking, and he goes up to my parents. My parents are like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "Why are you down here?" He's like, "I don't know, why are you down here?" He like went back upstairs, and at some point in the night he went downstairs and went into that room and fell asleep in there. Like, we had found him sleepwalking in so many places. He's fallen asleep at NASCAR. I think he fell asleep at a Patriots game once. I could be totally wrong. He used to fall asleep everywhere. He still can. He falls asleep at family gatherings all the time. My cousin's baptism, out on the couch. My brother's graduation party, in the shade. He's like in a lawn chair, just totally knocked out. He's pretty bad with sleeping.
I will say, I think she's capable of more than what people think about her. I feel like a lot of people think that she's just the girl who grew up with problems, the girl who has all these medical things, and I think in a sense people think she's like odd or weird for it, and it's like we're all weird, we're all odd in our own way. The people that like discriminate against her for that and like make fun of her for that, like, don't think she doesn't know about it. Don't think I don't know about it. Everyone knows. Just, I don't know, she's kind of like, grow up a little bit. Just, there's no need to be rude to a person about medical issues, something they can't control. So that'd be my final thought.